Welcome back, listeners. We're live at the Homegrown Expo, Coventry 2015, Garden Culture Stand, NPK Live, and we have the pleasure of Milwaukee. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Hi, I'm Thomas from Milwaukee Instruments. I'm the sales representative of the company, and I'm here to answer some questions, what you will ask me, and also to tell you a bit more about our new product, which is the MC720 pH controller unit, what we introduced last May to the market.
Excellent. And we'll answer some of the questions about pH, EC, and why it's important. Stay tuned. So, tell us about Milwaukee. When was it formed? It's a long-running company, isn't it?
Yes, we are on the market for more than 20 years, basically. We are a manufacturing company. Our manufacturing right in Europe, in Romania.
Awesome. Now, Milwaukee, you do the pH doser controllers. Basically, you give growers the equipment they need to fully control their growing environment. Tell us about the pH doser control. That's a really great product. Tell us a little bit about that.
So the dosing controller, basically it's adjusts the pH level. That's what it does. And it's really a simple one. Of course, as every pH meter, it needs to be calibrated first of all for pH 7 and then pH 4. It's really important to start the calibration always with pH 7 if you have the possibility for 2-point calibration, because that is the 0 point for a pH. So basically, first of all, you calibrate it and then you set a set point, and you can select above or below. Mostly the pH goes above a level, so you need to add the pH down solution. The kit, the MC720 kit, is containing the controlling unit plus a pump, so you can connect a pump and it's automatically dosing the pH down. But what is important, because of the tank size, how big is your tank, you need to mix the pH down solution 1 to 10 with distillated or deionized water.
There's a really good tip when you're using pH down. I think this was mentioned yesterday on one of the previous podcasts as well. Diluting the pH down is a fantastic tip, and if you're not diluting, make sure you do. And you mentioned there with deionized water, which will help with the making it more diluted, making it more accessible by the plant, or making the pH in a nicer range in a quicker time.
Yes, because basically this pH down solutions are really high, have really high acidity.
Yeah.
And if you overdose it, because we just have one pump which is adding the pH down, we don't have another one which is adding the pH up. But if you have two pump system, then it's gonna dose down, dose up, dose down, dose up.
All over the place.
Yes, absolutely. So here what we suggest is really to mix your pH down solution. So like this, you will avoid to overdose the pH down.
Exactly, and you've raised another great point, is people that they go a bit heavy-handed with the pH down. It goes down to 4, which is too low, and they go, we need to add some pH up, and they go heavy-handed with the pH up, and it takes it up to 7.2, and then you're above the right pH range, which, by the way, a good pH range is between 5.5 and 6.2, anywhere between there. Fantastic pH range. So don't be too heavy-handed with your pH up and down. Great point there. Let's have a little chat about you do EC meters as well. We call it the speedometer of growing. It allows you it tells you how much your plant's eating, if they want more water, if they want more food. We call it the speedo of growing.
So I wouldn't go into a discussion about how you need to grow, because I don't know that. I need to tell you, our profession is to make
making great quality products for the growers.
Absolutely.
And 100%. you do that really well. The pH dose control we have on display in our shop if you want to come down and have a look at it, and the EC pens as well. Very accurate, made by Milwaukee.
I would talk about also a bit from the pH pocket testers, pH pens basically, because there it's really important. There is a lot of kind of brands, lot of kind of stuff in the market. When you buy something like that, what you need to look on for sure is the quality, because if you buy cheap here, you're going to buy twice or 3 times.
You've raised a fantastic point. If you buy these cheap pH and EC meters, it's false economy. It really is. You buy a £20 pH pen or EC pen, and I guarantee you, I tell everybody that buys it, you will be back in the shop to buy another in 3 months' time, and then another in another 3 months' time, and then another in another 3 months' time, because they either break or they lose the calibration. I've tried calibrating the cheap pens, and it's a nightmare. We try really not to sell them because it's a nightmare when they come back to the shop. You spend £20 4 times, it's £80. Now the higher quality pH and EC pens, you're looking on spending between £60, £70, £80 for one. And the Milwaukee and the other leading brands, they have guarantees with them. So 1 year, 2 year guarantees. If it breaks 18 months' time, you come back, you get a new one. That should be standard with the shop that you go to. And also, they're highly accurate as well. They're a lot more accurate than the cheaper pens. So do not scrimp. And that was a fantastic point you raised there.
Basically, what we do is we have an entry-level line, which is pH 600, and the CD611, which is pH 600 is the entry-level pH meter. Everybody knows them. They are the yellow entry-level meters. So here we made another line, which is the pH 55 and the EC 60 or EC 59, which is already waterproof. When you drops in accidentally into your tank, it's going to float on the water, so it's not going under. And it has a replaceable electrode, so when you have any problem with the meter, you don't need to replace everything. It's enough to replace the probes. Milwaukee gives 2 years warranty on the electrical parts of the instruments and 6 months on the electrodes. It's really important here to spread out the word that if you take care of your electrode, then it can last for you a really long time. If you don't take care, and what I mean here is that the electrode needs to be always moist.
Yeah.
So you need to put it in storage solution, and if you don't have storage solution, don't worry, you can also put it in pH 7 or pH 4. pH 7 is better than pH 4,
yeah.
But just store it in something. Don't let it on your table and let it dries out. You need to put something, and this is valid for all the pH electrodes, so not just the Milwaukee manufactured one.
But
also,
any. We have a saying at NPK, and I like to do it in Ivan Drago's voice. If it dries, it dies. Do you like that?
Yes, I like that. It's a good one for sure.
Do not let your pH probes or your EC probes dry out. Specifically your pH probes. If they dry, the pH meter will die on you, and you will have to go back and get a new one. No matter whether you've spent a lot of money on the high quality ones, do not let your pH probes dry out.
So the other thing what I would like to point out is the maintenance of the probe, because it is one thing to let it moist and put it always in storage solution, but the other thing what is really important, when you use it, after that try to clean it, because most of the time this market is using different kind of nutrients which contains a lot of dirt, a lot of dust, and just clean it with normal running tap water. You just put there your electrode, cleans it, and then put it into the storage solution. Put it back on the cap.
Look after your products. When you spend your money on the kit, just look after them, and you could have your product for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Keep it maintained, keep it moist, and you're going to have a lifelong friend.
Absolutely, and the calibration is the other thing what you need to take care of, because if you want exact readings, you need to calibrate more oftenly. It not means that you need to calibrate before every use.
Yeah, maybe once a month. Is once a month a good amount of calibration time?
Well, I would say yes, it is good. It is better if you do it every 2 weeks, but I know that growers don't like to spend that much of time with.
Sometimes we forget. So at least once a month, ideally twice a month.
Yes, ideally twice a month. It's also, I would say also the controller where the electrode sits always in the tank. You should do also there the calibration pretty often. So every 3 weeks, if you do it, it's okay. I mean, you need the right reading to control your pH.
Exactly.
And
it sounds simple, but come on. If you don't calibrate your pH pens and you're adding pH down, pH up, you could be in for a whole world of nightmares. Your pH might be sitting at 6, your pH meter's telling you it's at 7, and you're going to put lots of pH down in and take it into an area where no nutrients are going to be absorbed. So it's really probably one of the top tips of this episode is make sure your pH probes are, make sure your pH pen is properly calibrated, and then start looking after it, maintaining it, adding the pH down or up as needed. But the first point you should always start with, make sure it's properly calibrated.
Yes, absolutely. I would like to ask you a question, if you let me.
Oh, you ask me a question?
Yes, now
I think this is a first. This is a turn of the tables.
So, Milwaukee is working together with NPK now for quite a while. What is your feedback? What is your how we can improve? Tell me.
I think what I've found is that all the products are really, really top quality. Now, if I was to nitpick, probably because it comes from Europe, it has the European plug, we have to put it into a UK adapter. Sometimes it can be a little bit, the words, wobbly, the scientific word, wobbly. So perhaps that's something that we could look at changing for the UK market. And to be honest, I think that's me nitpicking. The product's really good. The feedback from the customers has been fantastic, and it's all about pH control. If you're the Milwaukee pH doser keeps the pH just at the right amount, so it's not letting it rise too high where we're going to block out certain nutrients, and it's not going to let it drop too low either and blocking out other nutrients. It's going to just keep it absolutely nailed on, and that's good for a lot of growers. So that's it. Just have a little look at the UK plug, see if we can get a UK plug onto the controls, and that's it.
Thank you very much. We are looking into this project, and I hope maybe next year this time I will come some good news
Excellent.
for you guys with some good UK plugs on it. I would like to thank you for the invitation. I would like to thank you for NPK to let Milwaukee here as a guest, and wish you everything good. I mean, a lot of
very much.
Good customers.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.